Right.
Good
Good evening,
evening, everyone.
everyone.
Good.
Sorry,
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry, sorry.
Just trying to. Okay, good. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning. Like I said, we have some people from Australia who are already in the morning. Thank you for making today's meeting a success, and we are delighted to have you and host you tonight. Okay. Today I'm going to be talking about building wealth, and I'm going to be sharing with you the experience I have got and the experience that other people that I have researched about have also got. And at the end of the meeting, we'll be happy to take questions. So feel free to use the chat box, while we are at it, whenever a question pops up in your mind. The first thing about wealth is you need to know where your money comes from. Without clarity into where your money comes from, it will be very difficult to understand your inflow. And your inflow can never be left to guesswork. That is why I always tell people you can't build wealth based on gifts, because that is at the discretion of the giver. Have you actually asked yourself, where does my money come from? It's not just about your salary. If, for example, you're a salary earner, there are some other monies that come in periodically and consistently. A lot of us have an income problem. They have a tracking and spending problem. They don't know where the money comes from. And that is a problem when we are talking about building wealth. Where exactly does your money come from? So, as you are listening to me in this meeting, you can take a notepad and a pen because I don't want to rush. I didn't prepare 1 million slides. I actually want to keep it to be quite short but practical. Can you take a moment and document where does your money come from? And write it down. Yes, it could come from your income, your salary. Your income can come from your salary. It can come from some trusts. Maybe you come from a home where your parents have built a trust. It could come from your business, right? It could come from a monthly maintenance, package that is given to you by your sponsor. I mean, some people have sponsors, right? But where does that money come from? You must be able to track where that money comes from. Because the challenge is, like I said, the ability to know where the money comes from and how that money also goes. That's the first thing. Now, while you are at it, I also want you to think about those gifts that also come periodically that has almost become an income, that has almost become something that you can depend on. That's number one. Now let's move on. Number two, how does the money come? How does
Sorry, my internet was. I think I need to switch my internet a bit. Just give me a second. Just give me a second, please. On one of my devices. Just give me a second.
send a message in the chat box? Let me be sure you can hear me, please. Let me just be sure you can hear me, please, if I continue. I think you should. Yeah. Can you please confirm you can hear me? Please use the chat. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Ma. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, cool. So let's go back to where we were. Just a second. Just a second, please. This Nigerian internet can be very can be very embarrassing. That's why I always join with at least two different devices, and then I use two different internet so that when one goes off, I don't lose the people's attention. Okay, let's go back now. All right, so let's go back now. All right, so I was saying, so number two is how does the money come? Let me spotlight again. Okay, how does that money come? So I give an example, and again, if this would mean us either changing our sources of income to something better, I think now is the time to decide upon it. How does the money come? On this picture, you will see different, I don't use the word vehicle, you see different, means of transportation. You've got a tricycle, a small tricycle, you got a, small bike, you got a small car, then you got, something close to that as well. Then you have a caterpillar, and then you have, a truck, and then you have a bus. Certainly, if you put all of this on a road, right, they will not all end at the same time once they start at the same time. Your argument or your bet would be maybe on the car, right? Maybe the green one and the other one that is on the bottom left. You won't place a bet on the tricycle. Neither will you place a bet on the caterpillar. You cannot be wealthy or expect to be wealthy if you are using a small capability to make wealth. What do I mean? You cannot be wealthy if you're a gate man. How many hours do you want to put to make money? You cannot be wealthy if, for example, you are selling mango on the streets. You cannot be wealthy if you are a barber. And I'm not talking about celebrity barbers and somebody who has built a system around what he does. You just have one shop in one place. Even if you barb from morning till night, how much do you think you are making? Some of us were in low economic areas, and because we're in those low economic areas, we cannot be wealthy. It's not a curse. I'm not talking about geographical region. I'm talking about the line of business that is giving us money, or the line of whatever we are doing that is giving us money. So it is not about you putting in the effort. Your effort is good. Your effort is appreciated. You are an expert at what you do. But if you work from morning till night without a proper structure, without a proper system, and everything has to depend on you, how much do you want to make to be wealthy? You go to maybe wherever, you buy Okrika clothes, and you start ringing bell in Katangora or in Aswani or in one market on the streets, and you are asking somebody to come and buy, somebody come and buy. How much do you want to sell? How much of that do you want to sell to make money? So you need to look at it. The road is wide enough, but rather than using a car whereby you can move faster, you are probably using a tricycle or you are using a bicycle. So it is not the effort. It is that capacity, that wealth capacity that is critical in this regard. So the capability to build wealth in that thing that you are doing, what is that capability or what is that capacity? So the problem is not you. The problem is the vehicle you are using on this wide road. I see people, and we know, with all due respect to them, and I'm not trying to mock anyone, I see people say they want to be wealthy, and when you ask them, what are you doing? They will tell you they are petty traders, selling biscuits and sweets and things like that. The vehicle you are putting in your 24 hours to do is not capable enough for the kind of wealth you are thinking about. So the question is this: in what you are doing, currently that is giving you money. Remember, the first slide is where does your money come from? What is that wealth capacity, capability of what you are doing? What is that average ticket of what you are selling? And if you are working, I remember when I was, many years ago when I started my career working in an IT company, I would always pick up a calculator, a pen, and a notepad, and then I will calculate how much am I earning per second. Why? Because the 9 to 5 shift that I'm putting, somebody else is also putting that 9 to 5 shift. But the value of each second of that person is way more than the value of my own time in the same 9 to 5. You see, some people sell a house, for example, in Eco Atlantic, and they get a 10%. My last check on Eco Atlantic, a proper 5 bedroom, fully detached duplex is about 800 million naira. And the person sells just one, and he earns, let's say, 5%. That's 40 million naira. One transaction, one ticket, 40 million naira. Let's just use that 5%. Some people negotiate for 3, some people go for 10, some people go for 7.5. But let's say you just earn a 5% commission on selling one house in the Core Atlantic. Now, I'm not trying to be unrealistic because people can say, oh, but I don't have the connect. That's a different conversation. But I'm just trying to give you the concept of what you have on the screen. The wealth capacity, capability of what is giving you money. Do you know what it is? But you see some other persons, they put in all the shift, they put in all the work, and they are sweating at that work. And what they are going to earn in 1 year, in fact, in 5 years, if they continue in such, is not going to be up to 5% or 10% of what another person does in a single transaction in a few minutes, or let's say a few hours, or even say in 1 day. So how does your money come in? You need to think about this. How exactly does your money come in? Let's move on. What does the wealthy do? The wealthy, what do they do? I have discovered they do two major things. Number one, they've got business. And number two, they've got investments. There is no wealthy person on earth that does not either have this and or investments. I am not trying to rubbish those who are employees, but the truth is this. You cannot be an employee who is not at a particular level in your career and be wealthy. If you are not in managerial positions where you can determine what works for you and how whatever works for you, and you are still doing the 9 to 5, you are rushing out as early as 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 a.m., you don't get back home until 8 or 9 p.m., there is no way, and respectfully speaking, for those who are at that position, right, those are the ones that are least paid. There is no way you can be on that vehicle and make money. The kind of wealth you are looking out for. Yes, you can be comfortable, but you cannot determine that on a Monday morning, I want to lie down on the bed without going to work and nothing will happen. Take a typical example in a bank. You have the cleaners, right? The cleaners will come in before the tellers who give money over the counter or whatever will come. They clean the banking hall. They are already there since maybe 6:30 or 6 a.m., right? And when they come in, they clean and they wait. Then the bankers that come and give you money over the counter and attend to your complaints and all of those things, they come maybe 7 o'clock. Then you have, for example, maybe let's just skip the steps. You have the branch manager. The branch manager actually comes into the branch sometimes 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. And nobody in that branch can say anything because he's the boss of that branch. And if he packs up his bag by 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. and he says he's going out, nobody dares ask him, where are you going to? Because yes, he can be going for some meetings for some managers and it does not concern you. But at the end of the month, or rather, before I get there, the cleaners will then wait, sent on around and doing all of those things and probably clean after the bank closes for the day. At the end of the month, when salaries are paid, the branch manager is earning the highest and the cleaners are earning the least. Are they putting the same shifts? No. So I have no problem about people who are employees. But remember, every employee will either be fired, you'll be asked to retire, or rather, you will retire, or one day you will resign. One of those three will certainly happen to you. It is a matter of when, not if. You will be sacked, you will be asked to resign, or you will retire. Even if you were never sacked all through your years, you will leave that job one day because your father is not the owner. What are we talking about here? Every wealthy person, and when I mean wealthy, I'm not talking about just the cash. I'm talking about also having time to spend that money and not just having that money to spend itself. It is they have built a business or they've got some crazy investments. Forget about all the things you read on the internet. At the end of the whole day, it zeroes in on just these two things. Can you make money in other places? Yes, you can make money in selling whatever or doing whatever. But when you want to attain true wealth, it's from business or from investments. You can check it on the internet. You can do your findings. The number one wealth creator is solving large problems. Either you are doing what an Elon Musk is doing with his Starlink, or you are doing what a Dangote is doing with cement, or you are doing what whoever is doing large business. Of course, you can say, but I won't get to their stage overnight. I agree, but there is a starting point. Number two is that they've got investments. They have invested in companies. They have built wealth accumulation through capital appreciation. As little as buying stocks when it was probably whatever amount to what it is today. Their investment also involves real estate, investing in properties. Please, what was Lekki Phase 1 in the early 90s? How much is a plot of land in Lekki Phase 1 today? We understand the likes of Banana Island and Eco Atlantic were artificially created, right? But what was Lekki Phase 1 in the early 90s? What is Lekki Phase 1 today? What was Ikoyi? Okay, let's say Ikoyi was even a bit more premium then because of, the government and government house and all of those things. What was Ekpe? If they give you a house in Ekpe, 10 years ago, just 10 years ago, you won't take it. How much is Ekpe now? A plot of land. See, the wealthy build their wealth from investments. Let's move ahead. Your business will burn out if you don't scale. So let's talk about investments, or let's talk about business and let's talk about investments. You must think about building your business to grow. Be very deliberate with the growth of your business. Remember, I talked about investments and I talked about business, and now we're talking about business. Yes, some people have a head start. They started off a business large or big because of the stakeholders and network and funds and everything that they have in setting up a business. But even if you started small, you must be very intentional about the growth of your business. Number one, you must think about the economies of scale. I tell people that are selling in units, you need to stop selling in units. You can have units for passerbys who just want to buy and go, but the cost of selling a unit is the same cost or arguably the same cost in selling bulk orders. That's the truth. Economies of scale in your business. A lot of us are selling, I was talking with a lady some 2 months ago. She sells mocktails and all of those things. And I told her, stop selling one. Sell in packs. Two things will happen. Number one, you will cut down some, respectfully speaking, some customers who can not afford you. And those are not the kind of customers that can help you to scale. I understand the retail industry is the biggest industry in the world, but the truth is, to scale a business, you cannot sell based on being the cheapest. No business ever grows by being the cheapest in the market. And no business also grows by selling in units. You can have the units on ground for people to come pick and go, but the effort you put in getting, there's something we call cost of goods sold. The effort you put in selling one unit, if you put that same effort or arguably the same effort, you sell a bulk. So selling bulk packages, prioritize large orders and not units. I consult for an organization and I said, why are we selling per plots? Why are we not selling per hectare? You have less headaches. And we swung into selling per hectares. Today, you can't, we are not selling one plot. It's stressful. One, you will shave off some people, respectfully speaking, and humbly speaking, you will shave off some low economic people, and you stick to the high guys. Number two, you see, the high guys are the ones that does not even give you the headache. You see, the people that have one plot, they can stress your life. Number two, you make more money when you sell in bulk. Economies of scale gets reduced. Marginal cost is almost zero. So scaling the business is essential to maximizing growth opportunities. Number two, optimization. Number three, when you scale up your business, you are able to attract investment into that business, especially if that business is structured. When I mean structured, it is registered, it has some regulatory licenses. If you need regulatory licenses, you are keeping your audited statements. If you approach anybody who wants to invest in your business, the question they're going to ask you is, where's your balance sheet? What's your audited statement for the past 3 years? And when you're able to show it to them, they can say, okay, that this is a true business that I think we can invest in because we have seen the growth of the business in the past 3 years. Number four, sustainability. It helps you to build a long-term sustainability. If you are doing a business and you're not scaling it up and everything just relies on you, the day that you are not there, that business collapses. And I always tell people, if everything depends on you to make money, then there's a problem. There's a big problem. If you have to be there to do something to make the money, and that's the problem I also got with employees, where I have to do the work to make the money. I have to do the work to make the money. I have to do the work to, the day you don't put in the work, you don't make the money. And that's where the issue is. It is not scalable, it's not sustainable. Because the day that you don't go to work and you break down or you fall sick or God forbid you pass on, that thing just collapses. Why? Because it depends on you to make that money. Number five, demand. When you scale up your business, you begin to attract new sets of customers. Customers that do big tickets. You just don't know yet because you've not had that reality. The moment you have that reality, you'll be asking yourself, why haven't I done this all my life? Let's start bringing this meeting to a close so that we can start taking questions. Let's talk about investments. Investments, I'm going to put this under three principles. Principle number one is the investment itself. Number one, invest in self. I tell people in a club, and I mean, everybody who is in Club E.F.I has heard me say this 1,000,001 times. You need to invest in self. Why? Because that's the most trusted and tested investment you can ever do. It is in your control. It can never be taken from you. It's the most secure investment. Number two, Invest by allocating your assets. This helps you to strategically divide investments amongst different classes or different asset categories. Some in real estate, some in stocks, some in cash flowing assets, some in bonds, and so on and so forth. Number 3 is compound interest. A lot of people are in a haste to hammer. And that's why till tomorrow, if anybody brings out a Ponzi scheme, people don't even take time to check. Once they hear, oh, this return in 6 months, or this amount of return in 1 month or in 2 months, sometimes you need to just ask yourself, how is this possible? If this company can do this, then they don't need your money. If I can double your investment in 1 month, then why am I asking for your money? Some people come into my DMs either on, social media, and of course, my social media managers just manage those things. Before I used to manage them myself. Some somehow get my phone number, WhatsApp me, and then they will tell me some very fantastically looking investment. And I ask them, let's have a deal. You say you want to give me 50% in 1 month? Okay, no problem. Can you borrow me that money? That's the end of that sentence. Borrow me the money, and then, you say 50%, don't worry, I won't even take 50%, I'll take 20%. Just you borrow me the money, and then we will do the business. Compound interest is important, but time and reinvestment of returns can turn a modest savings into a significant returns for you. Number 4 or 5, diversification. Now, I'm not talking about asset allocation here. I'm talking about diversification, which means going beyond the geographical location where you are. USD, Naira, British pounds, and so on and so forth. This will help you to manage your risk in that market. Also manage your risk in that currency. I was having a conversation with somebody, I think 3 days ago. We were driving somewhere, and I told the person, I put my USD investments into my USD returns into my USD investments, and I put my Naira investments or Naira returns into my Naira investments. I don't begin to convert, except if I have that, liberty to do so, or I want to do so because of some other calculations that I have done. But as it is, I don't want to give myself the headaches of, should I convert to Naira or should I convert to USD? USD is USD investment, Naira is Naira investment. Because you are not going to be taking time to be calculating, okay, how much was USD yesterday? Okay, how much is it today? No, leave compounding to take effect on those currencies, and you'll be fine. Principle number 2 is financial literacy. We can never rule out this. That's why even in our annual meetings that we do on a monthly basis, right, we always mix it, financial literacy, we mix it with investment, we mix it with entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth. This meeting is all about financial literacy. Understand the financial concepts and markets to enable decision making. Number 2, invest only in what you know or what you are interested in, but you still must know it. You must know the model. I don't do 1 million investments. Oh, investments in this. No. I go deep into the ones that I have tested and trusted over the years. A lot of people always think, there are like 1 million places we should put our money. No. You don't need to put your money here. No, if you are working on 5, go deep on those 5. Occasionally, yes, you can show interest in a 6th one because you are still trying to diversify, right? But even within an asset portfolio, you can diversify. Pick, for example, real estate. In real estate, there's commercial real estate, there's agricultural real estate, there's residential real estate. In the residential real estate, you have renting, you have shortlets, so you can break it down. In agricultural real estate, there are different things you can do within agricultural real estate. You can even do land banking. You know one thing? I'm not interested in doing anything. I just want to bank the land, hold on for a few years, sell off. That could be your own strategy. You could go into development. Oh, you've got the property. Don't worry, I'm going to develop it for you. We do a JV, right? I build 2 units. You take one, I take one. So even within real estate, you can do other allocation of assets amongst, even within that industry of real estate. And the same thing goes for all the stocks. For example, you're looking at stocks, you can do REITs. You can do stocks that gives you, monthly dividend payments. We have that in Club E.F.I. We have at least 3 or 4 where we earn dividends on a monthly basis. In the same stocks, you can do single stocks, you can do penny stocks, you can do all manner of things within stocks. So invest only in what you know. In Club E.F.I, we don't do crypto. I have no problem with crypto, but I just don't do crypto. I have no problem again with those who are doing crypto. If you are cashing out in crypto, glory be to God. I have no problem with you. I just don't do crypto. Because for us, anything we do in the club, we must carve out something that is of benefit to the members of the club. Number 3, risk management. You must be able to identify, analyze, and of course, take steps to reducing risks to your investments. You have put in so much money. You've earned that money from your sweat, probably. You must be able to manage the risks. The truth is this, there are always going to be risks in every investment. Even the tested and trusted ones, even banks fail. A bank still failed in Nigeria last year or late last 2 years? So investments also have risks. You know this, you know peace. The question now is this, how do we mitigate against those risks? Nobody can guarantee you 100%. Of course, that's why we do diversification, that's why we do asset allocation and so on and so forth. But if there's anybody who is telling you, and we don't also say it in Club E.F.I, every investment we do in Club E.F.I is also susceptible to failure. But what we have done is to put in a lot of risk mitigating factors. That's why till today, we can make boast to say none of our investment has failed. Not one. Not one. Rather than it failing, in fact, we've never even had a situation where we say, okay, take your capital back. Oh, sorry, we couldn't give you your returns, but we are so sorry, just take back your capital. We've not even had we have never had such a scenario. But we get proposals on a day-to-day basis. Oh, come and invest in this. Oh, come and invest in that. We take time to thoroughly vet these things because we want to understand the risks. It's all about risk. The risks are there. You can't dodge them. You can't avoid them. Anybody who tells you there's an investment that does not have risk is a lie. He's just trying to rub your ego or make you feel cool so that you can give him the money. There are risks. But the question is, how do we mitigate these risks? Lastly, on financial literacy is income stream. Income stream. We're discussing in a group. Okay, I wasn't there. My wife was there, and this was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, if I'm not making a mistake. And somebody was saying something around how do you generate, other streams of income when the current stream of income is not even streaming. Permit me to use that language. It's not even streaming. And I say it's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. Multiple sources of income can provide that stability. In one of the videos we shot a few, maybe last month or so, I can't remember when, but we said not having multiple streams of income is like you standing on one leg in a hurricane. You can imagine standing on one leg is not even, you cannot sustainably stand on one leg. Now imagine standing on one leg in a hurricane when you have just one source of income. I just concluded by telling my wife that, one thing, let the person come and join Club E.F.I, and then we can educate the person on how to create multiple streams of income. Don't you see what the guys are doing? They build a good business, and out of that money, they start another business or start another line of business that uses the same channel. Lastly, before we take questions, the mindset to be wealthy. Number 1 is the mindset must be a mindset of patience and discipline. People want like one volatile formula. No, there is no volatile formula anywhere. Sticking to a financial plan, even when you have setbacks, right, is what is critical here. It may seem as if you're not making progress, but you need to stick, you need to be patient, and you need to be disciplined around it. I have seen people who say, oh, the stock is going down. Let us sell off. Let us sell off. And I tell them, that is even when you should buy more. Because the history of this company has shown that there will always be a rallying back. Patience and discipline. Patience and discipline. Patience and discipline. Very important in investment. Number two, we cannot overly emphasize this, spending less than you earn. The truth is nobody earns enough. Ask Tesla, ask Elon Musk, ask whoever you want to ask. They will keep telling you, we want to make more money. Yes, the motive for making more money is now different anyway. Some are making it for selfish reasons, some are making it for their children, some are making it to make an impact in the world, some are making it to do anything, right? But one thing is important. They are making more money and they keep craving for more money. And no matter the financial strategy or whatever, you must always spend lesser than you earn. That mindset to always spend lesser than you earn is critical. But the problem is a lot of people don't still understand this aspect. As simple as this golden rule is, some people still violate it. And that is why before the month runs out, they take loan for basic needs, not even for frivolities or some other luxury. Number three, adaptability. You have to be flexible and willing to adjust your strategies as market or goals change. I give an example. If you're in your 20s and you're doing, if you're in your 20s, I encourage people to be very risky with investments. But does not mean you don't have a risk mitigating factors, please. If you are in your 60s and 70s and 80s, you're already you're already going, no. I don't advise you to do anything aggressive or anything risky. If you have a blood pressure, hypertension, I don't advise you to do stocks. Lifestyle changes. By that time, you're not looking for wealth growth, you're looking for wealth preservation. Why? Because maybe you've got your children and they are not even depending on you. Though in this part of the world, we children are like the retirement plans of our parents. But thank God the narrative has changed or is changing. Right? Adaptability to flexibly change as your goals change. If you've got blood pressure, you've got hypertension, I don't advise you to do stocks. So that if you go and log into your stock app now, you see that everything is red and the market has crashed. It can lead to something else. Adaptability. If you're married, if you are yet to have children, you can start doing investments on their behalf, in their name. You can go very aggressive. You can do stocks. Those high, I don't want to call them high volatile, but at least high risk, high returns investments. Thank you. That's the word. High risk, high returns. The next one is long-term planning. And I think that's the second to the last point before we take questions. You need to settle and work towards a long-term financial goal. Stop the appetite for immediate craving. Well, okay, you do an investment to get a return. If you don't need the money, why don't you just put it in back and roll it over? Your money is your money. At the end of the day, you put it in your bank, it's not making any returns for you. In fact, you are losing more money. Why? Because of inflation. Inflation is eroding the power of the currency. Because what a millionaire in January is not what a millionaire will be after 10 months. Because what he could buy in January, we won't buy in say, November or December. Same amount, but different value. Lastly, think in capital, not cash. I was speaking at an annual conference in January, and I told them, the audience, you need to elevate from cash to capital. You need to elevate from cash to capital. All right. So my question is this: what is your strategy? What is your strategy? Thank you very much. Now I would like to take questions. Questions, please. You can use the chat box, all right? Because and if you want to, if you prefer, if it's more comfortable or convenient for you to speak rather than type, please just maybe you raise your hand and then I will allow you unmute your mic and you can speak. Questions, please. We are in the time of questions. We need to quickly um, take questions so that we can allow people go. All right, there's a question in the chat box that says, please expound more on capital over cash. Okay, thank you very much. Now, what is capital? Anything that can generate cash for you is what I define as capital. So rather than me having that money lying down in my account, I can put it in real estate. And again, real estate, of course, you know, in Club E.F.I, real estate is not, I need to go and have one big money. As little as 50,000 naira, you can go into real estate and you'll be earning on that your 50,000 naira every month. That's how we have democratized it in the club. As little as 20,000 naira, you can go into real estate. And you can be earning on a monthly basis from that your 20,000 naira. But of course, if you've got millions, billions, and so on and so forth, yes, you can also do that, right? So rather than me leaving that cash in my account, I will elevate it from cash to capital. So I am getting a return on my investment, I am getting a return on my capital, and I still have my capital. That's a very, you know, straight and short answer to that question. Do we have any other question? Let me see. Okay. Yes, as low as 50K. Yes, very correct. As low as 50K. Okay. The other question is thank birthday you for the sorry, I'm trying to sorry, let me read it from my other device. My laptop is giving me multiple views because of my laptop is the studio, so there are different things I'm seeing there. Okay, this one says, this question from Bella says, thank you for the insightful session. I hope the recording will be, yes. The recording will be available. We'll put it on YouTube. We share it on YouTube. Before, we normally put it in the portal, but we chose to make it public so that people can just go and watch it on YouTube, right? Okay, Timothy, you say you want to speak. Okay, so let me allow you on mute. All right. So Timothy, you can I've asked you to unmute, so you can unmute now. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
good evening, sir. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for this insightful teaching. I actually learned a lot tonight. So my question is, you make mention of um there there are some kind of business that want we do, and if you want to be wealthy, and there are some kind of small scale business that one will be doing, and it's just as though he'll be putting more effort, and at the end of the day, it's not, he can't get to that wealthy life. Now, a scenario where you have, I'm not a barber, but an instance, a barber who not only barbs the average people, but he also have some top celebrities that he barbs, and
Yeah.
he has a long-term plan for his business, whereby he earns more money, and also um, have several shops through that same business he's doing. So are you saying that he can't be wealthy on a in a long run
Okay.
after
Thank.
doing such business? Thanks,
All
sir.
right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. I understand what you're trying to say. Now, in such a situation, the person has built a system. And that system is running without his energy or his direct involvement. In such a scenario, the person can make money because he has built a system that makes money without his direct involvement. I was listening where some people do low ticket or low economic value products. And barbing is a low, respectfully speaking, is a low economic product. I am not insulting barbers, please don't get me wrong. I am only saying if I'm a barber and just I have a shop and I'm not changing my mentality, I'm not changing my thinking, I'm not changing my strategy, and I am barbing, I only have one shop and I'm barbing from morning till night. It is dependent on me. The day I fall sick, I don't make money. That's where the problem is. And number two, how many hair do I want to barb that will give me the kind of money that you're talking about in this meeting? How many people? Let's say you barb 2,000 naira per person. How barbing will take you maybe 30 minutes. How many people do you want to barb? Only you, one person, one shop in one place. It's not sustainable, it's not scalable. That's why I went to the slide where I said you need to scale, where things no longer now depends on you. So you could be doing things that are low economic value, but you must put a structure around it so that it does not depend on you. I also spoke about the lady that I was speaking with, I think last month, who sells mocktails. And I told her, you can't be selling one unit. How much, do you know the effort you put in selling one unit? Leave the one unit for those that come to your shop to pick and go because logistics is on them. Than you doing the logistics of selling one unit across Lagos and go into bulk purchases. I also gave an example of the real estate company that I work as a consultant and as a director. We stop selling one unit. It's stressful. Let's go for 1 hectare minimum. So please don't get the concept or the context wrong. I have no problem with people who are doing that, but anybody who wants to make wealth cannot remain in that strategy. You can't be a gate man at the gates, opening gates and closing gates from morning to evening, and you are thinking of making the kind of money you are talking about in this meeting. No, it's not possible. You can't make that money because what you are doing there is a low economic ticket. Then I give you the example of somebody selling a unit of a house in Eco Atlantic, which I know today is 800 million naira, at least by my findings. And he's making a 5%. That's 40 million naira. So that is the context at which I'm coming from. You must build a structure, a system where things don't depend on you to be wealthy. Otedola goes on a 3-month holiday every year. 2 months in UK, 1 month in France. Nothing will happen to his businesses. Why? Because it's not dependent on him any longer. Okay. Tim Tokwe here was saying you don't know how. Anyway, don't worry. Reach out to us in Club E.F.I and we'll tell you how. Okay. Tosin is asking a question, sir. Please, where does needing more than your money or debt fall in building wealth based? Sorry, let me use, like I said, I have a studio on my laptop, so it's not making me see these things very well. Okay, yeah. Here it says, please, where does needing more than your money / debt fall in building wealth based on what you shared? Is it a must? Needing more than your money. Okay, if you really want to build true wealth, you can't be dependent on your money. How much do you have? It cannot be dependent on your money. The wealthiest people use debt to make money. They are the wealthiest, but they are the biggest debtors as well. If you are thinking about the kind of tickets we are talking about here, your money cannot carry everything. At a point, you may not have realized it. At a point, you will use debt to make money. It's called other people's money and other people's time, and and all of those things. We don't want to go into that today. I was talking with a senior colleague, I think about 5 years ago, And I was telling him, no, 5. More than 5 years ago. I can't remember now, but more than 5 years ago. And I told him, in this my business, I will never borrow money. I don't need people's money. When I take loan, I will be scared. I have to pay back the loan. The guy told me, Shagun, you will get to a stage where you will know that it's not by your money. The kind of money you're talking about, your money cannot handle it. I was like, no, I don't borrow money. He said, no, if you know how to use debt, you understand. So I went back to studying where people use debt to make money using debt. They don't even touch their own personal money. What do you think the banks are doing? They gather money from all of you, all of us, myself inclusive, even though I don't keep so much money in the bank, I put it in investments. They gather money from all of us. They borrow the wealthy people. They borrow the government. They borrow HNIs. They make money from them, and then they give you very paltry amounts. That's why if you put money in savings account, in fact, it's better you even spend that money and eat sweet than to leave the money in savings account. Because they'll give one very annoying interest. And if you touch that money within the course of the month, that's interest you should get on that money you have left in your account goes. But if you say, okay, let me go and do fixed deposit or treasury bills, how much is the return on treasury bills or fixed deposit? Thankfully, now I think it's a bit higher. Then it was lesser than 10%. So yeah, you need to use debt to make money if you know how to use it. Because don't go and try it if you're not smart or you're not good at doing it, right? You need to use debt to make money. Any other question before we bring the meeting to a close? We've got 5 minutes to go, and I just want to take one more question. Okay, no questions. All right, thank you very much. We'd like to bring the meeting to a close. It is salary week for employees, the most exciting week of the month, and the most emotional week of the month. Please, before you start splurging, try to put that amount, that money, in an investment. Please put that money you have dedicated for investment, no matter how little. I always tell people I'm after the consistency. Don't try to impress me by the amounts. If all you can consistently invest is X amount, please maintain that X amount on a monthly basis. Then you can, of course, take care of your non-discretionary needs and some other things that makes life and enjoyable. But please invest. That's why we also deliberately put our meetings as last Sunday of the month so that we can be telling people to invest, because we know some of us are salary earners. And even if you're a business owner, you need to pay yourself, salary from your business so that you are rewarded for your work in your business, because business money is business money. Personal money is personal money. Don't touch business money. If you touch it, you have to pay it back with interest. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a wonderful week ahead. Have a wonderful month ahead. And yes, I think I should say it here. I'll be celebrating my birthday in the month of May, and only paid members of the club will be invited. And we will share more information in the coming days. But watch out. We are on a trajectory for something good. And if God has laid it in your heart to buy me a GLK, Mercedes Benz, please, I'm not immune to it. I'll be happy to receive it. Right? A birthday gift. Thank you very much, and enjoy. I will share the link on the YouTube, and I will drop the link on the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Have a wonderful month of May and a wonderful new week. Cheers. Bye.